What's up, Internet? I'm Matt Brickman. This is the 734 from WCCO. I know most of you are on your way to work or about to head out the door. So let's get you started with today's weather up north, because this is what it looks like in parts of Minnesota right now after 15.5 inches of snow yesterday. This is up near Tofty. The Sawbill Canoe Outfitters sent us this picture. And then about 25 miles up from there on Lake Superior in Lutzen, this was taken while it was still snowing yesterday at Lutzen Mountains. They had 9 inches, and then it just kind of kept going from there. If you still want to ski, Lutzen Mountains are open this weekend. In fact, they might get 2 more rounds of snow before we're done. Right now, we've just got some clouds over us here in downtown Minneapolis. It's cool. We're only at 40 degrees right now, but at least it's not raining yet. That will change. Southern Minnesota picking up some showers right now, and we'll see those roll into the Twin Cities a little bit later on this morning. Here's the timing. I think by 11 or noon, we should start to see some light rain falling throughout the metro, and they'll kind of continue to be scattered throughout the afternoon into the evening. Twins play again at 6:40. I think they're going to be okay. Probably going to be a little bit of light rain out of the ballpark, but I don't think enough to postpone tonight's game. Heavier rain kind of coming overnight tonight and into the morning tomorrow. You can see that drift over into western Wisconsin, and then another round of rain hit west central and northwestern Minnesota by the afternoon. We're cold for a couple of days here. Average highs late April, early May, mid 60s, and we don't get out of the 40s today, barely making it into the low 50s tomorrow. All right, let's talk about this. The debate over a Minneapolis lake that we thought was settled is heating up again after a state court of appeals ruled that Bde-Maka will go back to being called Lake Calhoun. Minneapolis's Mayor Fry weighed in on Twitter yesterday saying, "I will continue to call Bde-Maka by its rightful name. That was the lake's name before people who look like me renamed it to honor a slavery apologist, and as far as I'm concerned, that is still its name today." Another one from a Republican state representative, Pat Garofalo, saying, "I don't care what people call the lake, but I do have difficulty understanding the logic of why the name Lake Calhoun is objectionable. But the road East Lake Calhoun Parkway is not. It's even on the same sign. Just seems like another way to waste our taxpayer dollars." And one more from Representative Mary Kunesh-Podein saying, "We need to acknowledge and remember that this was indigenous land, and it still is indigenous land, and that by renaming this lake to Bde-Maka, we are acknowledging the existence and the value of our indigenous communities." Okay, the politicians have weighed in on this. Now we want you to. What should we call this lake? I mean, the signs are still up saying Bde-Maka, and it looks like that they're going to stay that way. But there you go. Lake Calhoun Parkway is on the same side as well. So what do we do with this? If you're watching on Facebook or on Twitter, leave a comment, and we'll hear from you coming up in just a few minutes. Jurors in the Mohamed Noor trial will continue deciding his fate today. They got the case in the afternoon yesterday and deliberated for several hours before wrapping up without a verdict. Noor is charged with murder and manslaughter in the July 2017 shooting death of Justine Ruszczyk-Damon. The jury is 10 men and 2 women. They'll remain sequestered until they reach a verdict. Stay with WCCO until a decision is made. At the state capitol, House Democrats passed the controversial transportation bill last night. It raises the state's gas tax by 20 cents a gallon. They want the money to improve roads and bridges, but Republicans say the bill would make Minnesota a more expensive place to drive. The bill is not likely to pass the Senate. President Donald Trump meets with Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer today. Remember, they did this before? Didn't go well. Today, they plan to discuss the country's crumbling infrastructure. They met 4 months ago, and it ended with the president walking out in a huff and dismissing the government shutdown talks as a, quote, total waste of time. Meanwhile, President Trump is suing Deutsche Bank and Capital One in an attempt to block congressional subpoenas for his business records. 2 House committees issued the subpoenas earlier this month as part of investigations into the president's finances. The Trumps want a federal judge to declare them unlawful. It is the end of an era in Japan. Overnight, the emperor announced his retirement. Emperor Akihito resigned after 3 decades. The 85-year-old made his final speech to the public this morning. His son will ascend to the throne as the new emperor tomorrow. Hollywood continues to mourn the death of director John Singleton, just 51 years old in his passing. was removed from life support yesterday, more than 2 weeks after a major stroke. Singleton had films such as Boys in the Hood, Poetic Justice, and Higher Learning. Okay, this is the most clicked on story on WCCO.com. A Minnesota woman is breaking boundaries in the modeling world. Halima Adin was the first model to wear a hijab and a burkini for Sports Illustrated, their swimsuit edition. The 21-year-old was born in a refugee camp in Kenya, but grew up near St. Cloud. So pretty cool to see a local girl make good in one of the biggest magazine issues of the year. So congratulations to her. Are you sick of robocalls on your phone? Minnesotans get an average of 8 each day. Now a bunch of apps promise to get rid of those scammers for you before you pick up. But do they work? Liz Collin tested out a few with the help of some U of M researchers, and they found the technology isn't quite there yet, mostly because number spoofing is so easy.
If I'm a scammer and then suddenly my number stops working, I just change it from 1234 to 1235, and I keep calling.
Mike believes, that's who you saw talking there, Mike believes that the old advice, if you don't know the number, don't answer it, still rings true. You can find out more on this story at WCCO.com. There's a cool new exhibit at the Minnesota History Center all about First Avenue. This does actually look really cool. And it goes beyond just talking about Prince. It goes all the way back from the origins as a Greyhound bus station in the 30s and talks about what it is today. The exhibit takes people on a journey through history, and it opens on Saturday. Okay, this seems like the only thing people have been talking about on the internet, so it is today's talker. State Court of Appeals ruled that Bde-Maka will go back to being called Lake Calhoun. The city's mayor, the park board say we're not changing anything. So we don't know exactly where this goes from here, but we wanted to get your thoughts on it. Our digital guy Cole is here now to read what I'm sure are the reasoned and thoughtful comments of the internet.
There's a lot of reasonable comments.
That's good.
Okay, we got a Wes Huntington saying Bde-Maka honor the Dakota people who were here first, or at the very least have both names. And then we have Nicole saying, I will call it Lake Calhoun personally, but it's the processes that have people upset.
Cassandra said the lake name prior to white men deciding to change it to Lake Calhoun. Communities are often erased from history too often. Keep it Bde-Maka. And Hangry Llama, frequent commenter here, says, my opinion is there shouldn't be the name of a racist slave supporter on the lake. Calhoun should be left in the past where he belongs.
Yeah, and we have Sue Goodstar saying, Bde-Maka, don't forget you're on Dakota land. And Kimberly's, compromising. I think we have both names, Lake Calhoun, Bde-Maka, on all signs to represent everyone.
Someone's gonna be unhappy. Like, no matter what they do. Somebody suggested maybe you just do a third option. I feel like that would just make everyone mad. So I don't know what good that does. But I'm sure we won't stop talking about this anytime soon. It'll come up again here on this program. But for now, we're done. That's it for the 7:34 from WCCO. Time when most of the Twin Cities are on the go. If you haven't already made us your home for mobile news, go ahead and do that. We'll be back here tomorrow at 7:34 with this topic in particular. Be nice to each other on the internet.